Dear students, colleagues, and my viewers all over the world, very warm welcome to Dr. Ahmed YouTube channel. In today's short video, we are going to discuss section 32 of Whitman's Song of Myself. Like all other sections, it's equally fascinating and invites our attention to see what the poet is saying and then try to understand it as much as possible. By the way, it's more about the animals as compared to the last sections where he discussed simply about the land, the grass, or the plantation. Let's see how does the poet proceed with that. The first lines I read for your benefit. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self-contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So the poet is wishing that he wants to enter into the world of the animals and live with them. Why? Because they are placid. Two words are used, placid and self-contained, that they do not need anybody else in order to make their life beautiful and good and livable. They are so satisfied and contented that the poet would like to become the part of this animal world. It means that the animal world is more, as compared to the human world, more placid, more contented, and they do not suffer from the problems which most of the human beings suffer from. So that is why the satisfaction which the poet wants to find out is here in the world of animals, and that is why he says that he looks at them and finds himself the part of that as well. And next he proceeds by saying, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. So two more characteristics of animal world which make it better than the word of the human being. He says that they do not sweat and whine. They do not feel anything bad to weep in the darkness. So there are no bad consciences in the minds of the animals. They are just thinking and living in the present moment and are discussing and looking at their life, whatever it is going to be. They are happy and satisfied with that. They don't weep, they don't cry, they don't feel discontented, they don't feel like having fears, and in the same way they don't like to go back and think what they didn't have and what they couldn't have. These things are not theirs, and that's why they don't weep and cry as well in the darkness of the night like the human being. So they are representing an entirely different world as compared to the satisfaction of the animals is concerned in comparison to the human being. Further, poet says, they do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. No, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So another dimension has been taken by the poet. That dimension where one kneels down before the others, one respects the others, one thinks about the duties towards God, one likes to count what has been done and what has been not done. One likes to think about the kind of punishment and the kind of reward which the human beings are provided. And above all, when the human beings live in this world, they continuously think of the possessions. They want to gain more possessions because it lends them the edge. They think that the edge over the others. They think that they would be better off as compared to other people, or they may be considered better, improved, progressed human beings as compared to others if they think about these things. The poet says that the animal world does not have anything like that. It's so beautiful a world where all human passions die, where the thinking, the conflicts, the kind of desires, the possessions, and the other things which possibly can tease the human mind disappear in the mind of the animal. So that's why, according to him, the animal world is more pleasant and calm and contented, and he would love to or would like to become the part of that world. So this is the wish of the poet to escape from the real world, as was the wish of John Keats in his poem Ode to the Nightingale, that he also wanted to escape and thought of different possibilities. Here also the poet is thinking about these possibilities. We will see in the end of the poem whether he reverts back to the original world, just like Keats, when he came back and said that all these techniques are temporary, cannot give him permanent escape, so he has to come back to the real world. So let's see whether this poet also returns to the real world, or he continuously seeks the escape into calm and placid world of the animals. The poet says, so they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself. They evince them plainly in their possessions. I wonder where they get those tokens. Did they pass their way huge times ago and negligently drop them? This part of the poem is quite simple, where the poet says that he is somehow related to the animals. He says that tokens of love come from them. Possibly, he says, he himself passed through these animals and he dropped some of the tokens of love, and these same tokens of love are being reverted towards back to him. So in this way, if you give love to the animals return back the love in the same passion, in the same mood, and that's what the poet is trying to highlight. So he says that he is getting the tokens of love from the animals also. Now, what are these and how are these? That he will be explaining in the next coming lines. He says, myself moving forward then, and now and forever, gathering and showing more always, and with velocity infinite and homogeneous, and the like of these among them, not too exclusive towards the reachers of my remembrance, picking out here one that I love and now go with him on brotherly terms. He says this has been happening all the time. All the time he has lived in this world, he has been feeling himself part of this world, of the animals, as the animals have been reminding him, as the nature has been reminding him that he's not different, he is the part of the whole world of the nature. And so in the same way he has been there for a long time. He has been realizing this. He says he remembers all these things. He says that there is no problem in that, in becoming the part of that. He can become, because he's already the part of the whole world of the animals and that of the nature. He says he is with each and every animal, just like in brotherly terms with this thing, just like the person who loves them, just like the person who appreciates them, he's with them. The poet further says, a gigantic beauty of a stallion, fresh and responsive to my caresses, head high in the forehead, white between the ears, limbs glossy and supple, tail dusting the ground, eyes full of sparkling wickedness, ears finely cut, flexibly moving. Now the poet goes forward to describe the beauty of one animal, that's a stallion, that's a horse. He says this is the most beautiful animal in this world, and according to him, he traces some of the beauty element in that animal by saying that it is not only beautiful, its forehead is beautiful, its ears are beautiful, its limbs are supple, its tail is very long, and ears are finely cut, and everything is doing so wonderfully well. So he traces the muscular beauty of the animal and says that so beautiful the animal is going to be, and yet this animal is not proud of its beauty. It is welcoming the love of the poet, and it is returning that love as well. So he returns to the stallion for some time in order to appreciate it, in order to be companion with, in order to be brotherly with, in order to be the part of the word of this animal, and traces the beauty of this animal in such a beautiful terminology that these adjectives make it even more beautiful as compared to the animal himself. The poet keeps on saying, his nostrils dilate as my heels embrace him, his well-built limbs tremble with pleasure. As we race around and return, I but use you a minute, then I resign you, stallion. Why do I need your paces when I myself outgallop them, even as I stand or sit passing faster than you? And here is the part of the poem which goes to suggest that ultimately the poet comes back. But first of all, he rides the stallion, and then he kicks the sides of the stallion, he touches the sides of the stallion with his heels and feels the quivers, feels the happiness of the muscles, feels the strength and speed of the stallion, and goes on for a minute, but ultimately realizes that why he needs this. He is himself better than that. He has a bigger, larger speed, and so he can do the things better as compared to the animal. He says he himself is the incarnation of the word of nature, as that of the plant, as that of the animal. So there is no need to be with the animal in order to procure that pleasure and contentment. He says he himself has that, and therefore he comes back. He says that he can gallop faster than him. He can go faster than him. So horse's biggest quality is to go fast, muscular, powerful. He says he himself is like that. So in this way, the poet returns back to his own word, just like Keats, he returns back. So it means that going and losing oneself into the word of nature is a beautiful thing. It lends the beauty, it lends the placidness, calmness when you revert to nature. But then ultimately you have to come back to the word of human being. And there, if you remain, carry the same thing which you brought from the word of nature with you, you can also feel very good and better as the animals feel in their word, blessed, contented, calm, without any worries, conflicts. Human life, according to him, is full of that. But if they keep on touching with nature, with animals in that way, they can also become in the same way quite happy, quite contented, quite satisfied. So that's a very beautiful message given by the poet in simplest possible lines. This is the section which reminds us that poet is now connecting himself with the animal world as he connected himself in the past. So many lines with the grass, with the plants, with the land, with the elements of land, and with other animals. So in that way, this section becomes important with respect to the animal. And one animal which is more beautifully portrayed here is the stallion, the image of the stallion of power, of strength, of speed. But then the poet comes back after enjoying the kind of beauty, the kind of speed, and declaring that he himself has all that in himself. So that's it from me for this poem. So hopefully you like it, and if you like, do not fail to press the subscribe button as well as the like button, and to comment and to give some questions on this video, which shortly and very smartly, of course, explains the section 32 of Whitman's poem Song of Myself. That's it from me. Hope to see you again in some other video. Thank you for watching.